All right, so to speak podcast. We are live. Welcome to the show, everyone. I am your host, the one and only Miss Uncle. The title Uncle Shazam has now been officially retired for a long time. So with that being said, tonight's guest, I am joined by one by, of course, the co our co one of my co-founders of this channel, of Panoramic Gaming, of Panoramic Productions. Please welcome my guest tonight, Mr. Sick Nick.
What's up, dudes?
Welcome to the show, Nick, and
Honor to be here.
oh, thank you for volunteering on Monday. On Monday, really, dude, really appreciate it. So, anyways, for those who doesn't know Nick, let me tell you about this calisthenic power workout motherfucker right here. This guy, at his age, doing handstands for more than 1 minute. That's fucking amazing.
Wait, what? Who told you that?
You did. When you had that one video where you're doing handstand right off your own garage wall.
Actually, that wasn't really a video. It was more like a picture, and I wasn't really holding a handstand. It was more like I was trying to do handstand push-ups, which is incredibly difficult, even for the most trained athletes out there.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not a handstand hold. That's more like a handstand push-up, which I will admit I'm not the best at it.
No, but you know what? Even then, picture or not, like you getting to the point of like doing a handstand, like that to me, and I don't want to sound like if I'm trying to like kiss anyone's ass, but because I actually mean what I say.
Mm-hmm.
I say that that's some fucking impressive work.
Thank you. Not the easiest, but thanks anyway.
Oh, you're welcome. Getting to know Nick, how did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
It's a bit vague at this point, but if I can recall correctly, I know it was through air, although I'm not entirely sure what location it was. It might have been my house. It might have been somewhere in Eva Beach. It's like I said, the memory is a little bit foggy at this point, but to me, all that matters right now is, you're my friend, and I'm glad to be going on a life journey with you and a few others that we both know. So, yeah.
Man, that honestly, because it's funny like you mentioned your house, because I feel like that's where like we meet people the first time. Like if you remember, like, or it's either for whatever reason, whenever you graciously graciously just host like parties at your house, like randomly, that's for whatever reason we'll meet someone new. Like
In some instances, yes, that does happen. Not all the time, but that happens from time to time.
like I think it was like the first time actually like meeting Kanye, Shota, and
Mhm.
damn, I can't think of the other person's name at the moment.
I.
Yeah, I.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it, and then of course, if we're to like backtrack it
Even
like
further.
even further, like the I remember meeting. I don't know if it was at your house, meeting Brandon Navarro. Either you or me just meeting Brandon Navarro.
I believe it was, yeah.
And
I'm
his
just,
buddies.
I'm not in, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Only thing is, I'm just not entirely sure, or I can't remember uh you know introduced us to the other. So yeah. But I do remember very clearly that Brandon Navarro was in our house at one point. His girlfriend Noelle was in our house. Kama was in our house. Kanai was in our house. Austin was in our house. Shoot, I remember the time when I turned 21 years old, and this is probably one of my most memorable parties ever. I turned 21 years old, and my parents weren't home. And that's when I started inviting as many friends as I possibly could because no one was gonna say shit to me for that.
See, see, see. That's the thing now. That I feel like your house is that vocal point where everyone just meets each other for like the first time.
I suppose so. Well, I don't know about that now, but for a
Oh
time, yes, it was.
yeah, like even recollecting recollecting like other years like back when we did House of Smash tournaments, like
Mm-hmm.
that was like the first time meeting like that was like the first time meeting like Darren, Dean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um I think Clarissa was I think
Yep.
meeting Clarissa,
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn.
Uh,
I think she came a couple.
Carolyn. There was
Carolyn.
also Paul. I remember
I
Paul.
remember. Yeah, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There were a couple of others, but I kind of
Zedric.
forgot.
That's right.
Okay, not who I was thinking about, but yes, he is one of those guys. The ones I was talking about, though, were more in the Kalihi area because at the time we were
Oh
kind of doing East versus West Smashers in the same place, which I thought was a pretty fun ordeal.
man, that actually was fun,
Hmm.
man. Do you, do you miss those do you miss those days? Kind of, but not really.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I hated it or anything, but at the same time, because the sessions would go like past midnight, I do get a little bit I do get a bit exhausted by the time it's almost about to be over. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of miss the days where we would do that. I just wished it didn't go past past a point where I probably should be in bed. Maybe not sleeping, but I'd love to be in bed before midnight.
True. Nah, I think even like during those times, like we didn't know too much about like how. I mean, we I mean, I know Air had known more about like the actual like the fighting game like
Hmm.
scene more than I did,
Sure.
but even then I didn't know like as much in terms of like how tournaments are organized, like you know,
Hmm.
from like brackets and stuff.
Sure.
I didn't at the time, like I didn't understand like the entire experience,
Hmm.
granted. So um but even then I those are those kind of moments where just like they were fun.
Hmm.
They were fun while it lasted.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way I could put it.
And now they are forever immortalized on this channel.
Hmm.
So, but anyways, let. But anyways, I want to get to talk to the soul Nick, and what for the audience. I know you already expressed this like on the Monday show in here, but
Hmm.
just for this podcast episode, like walk me through that journey where the I guess like your decisions on like when it was time to change yourself physically, like
Um,
just like yeah.
it okay. It all I did have some, you know, how should I say, ups and downs. As in, by context of that, I mean like, oh, I'm motivated. Now I'm not feeling so motivated. Now I do feel motivated. Now I'm not feeling so motivated. I've had those for the past few years or so, but when I began taking it seriously was literally just last year. as in when COVID was at its peak. This was when, lockdowns and curfews were being put into place. And from there, I kind of felt like watching One Punch Man for whatever reason, because I didn't really have much to do besides work. Because usually whenever I'm not working, I'm usually going out and spending time with friends and whatnot. But because that was kind of off the table for a time, that was when I decided to watch One Punch Man on Netflix. And although I don't quite remember everything about the show, the One Punch Man workout kind of inspired me to want to get back to working out again. But
And where
instead
did
of
you and I guess did you like did you just like kind of just like randomly like Google search the One Punch Man workout, or you just kind of like watch it through the series and you just like okay.
a little bit of both, I would say. If anything, as far as the Google search goes, when I say the One Punch Man workout, I don't actually mean like the full 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10-kilometer run. No, I did it in a way where it's not only manageable, but it's also practical in the sense, because uh as the way it's written, the One Punch Man workout does have its flaws. For example, it doesn't have pulling movement, which pretty much works your back and your biceps. By the way, I'm not trying to flex here. I'm actually just trying to point thumbs on my back. Anyway, um, the One Punch Man workout doesn't have any pulling movements, which is actually not very good for your body, because, if you're working your chest, but you don't work on your back, you're going to have like a very slouchy looking position,
Hmm.
which kind of exposes you to injury in a more likelihood manner, which is why I swapped out the sit-ups for inverted rows. Inverted rows is basically a horizontal pulling movement using the weight of your own body. So imagine a push-up but upside down where you're actually pulling. So it's basically like a pull-up but from a horizontal position, which leads me to the next point. The sit-ups is kind of not very good for your tummy area. If anything, the reason why I never really worked on my core
Yeah.
is mostly because 99% of exercise that I tend to do kind of involves the core already. So I'm not really too worried about getting the six pack abs. If anything, if I really want six pack abs that bad, that would mean I would have to change my diet, which, although I am doing, abs isn't really my number one goal, if I'm being honest right now.
Then then I guess like so if abs were just like kind of like I guess would you consider like abs being like secondary to a sense?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying ab exercises are bad. If anything, there are some very good ab exercises out there. It's just that in the grand scheme of things, I would not prioritize them over multi joint movements like push ups and bench press, or inverted rows and barbell rows. Basically, the exercises that work multiple muscles instead of just one. Those, I believe, should be your biggest priorities. And then something like tricep extensions and bicep curls, they should come after the multi joint movements.
Okay. But being I guess like yeah I guess since we're on that we're on that the topic of like fitness, like how did your I guess like did you already like when developing like a mindset, like you like you know you had like a beginning goal, and
Hmm.
you had an end goal. So in terms of the like was pretty much the majority of your mindset based on one punch man, and then you kind of modified it as you went,
Uh,
like
sort of,
in the beginning kind of
sort
thing.
of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did like my workout initially was heavily inspired by One Punch Man with some modifications that made it more practical. But as I continued on, I slowly veered away from it, not because I didn't like it anymore, but because I wanted to uh, build upon what was already pretty good.
Hmm.
I don't really do, I don't necessarily do high volume training like I used to, but at the same time, that's not to say I'm staying away from it forever. If anything, I'm just kind of, you know, experimenting with other stuff and see what I could best work with. If anything, my workouts now on my main days, which are Monday through Thursday,
Hmm.
Friday being a free training day. Um, my main workouts that I'm doing, it's more like to how should I say this? I'm trying to make my workouts a bit more time efficient because I notice that whenever my rest times are a little bit long, not too long, but like maybe just a couple of minutes, I feel like time doesn't quite pass on as much. And I feel like, I feel like I'm not really going anywhere after a while, which is why, you know, although I could have added more sets that would take up more time, I could have intensified it more, but I kind of want to stay away from injury as much as possible. So the next best thing I did was, instead of putting more volume or putting more intensity, why not I cut the rest time? And then boom, that was pretty much the big magic trick that helped me not only progress but made my workout faster, cuz the way I see it, you shouldn't be uh your workouts shouldn't be at a very strict time table, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
your workouts don't have, yeah, your workouts don't shouldn't be, unless you're training for a particular sport, your workouts shouldn't have to take an hour or more. If anything, based on your schedule, that might not be the best idea. If anything, I try to make my workouts as short as possible while also being effective. And I've done research on this where you can make substantial gains in a considerably short amount of time.
Makes sense. Sorry. Anyways, but yeah, no, I get it. You try to develop so in the grand scheme of things, how your mindset works is completely different from the rest. Like this is something that it, would would it be safe to would it be safe to say that like it is taking you like approximately a year to like mold, modify, and be consistent.
Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm gonna keep it this way forever. I mean, I'm loving it. I like how my workouts are very short and yet very effective. But who's to say it's gonna stay that way forever? Who's
Right.
gonna say that, or who's to say that in some point in time it will change? I don't know if it's gonna change. Maybe it might, maybe it won't. If anything, there may come a point in time where maybe I might have to change things up, but I'm not quite looking forward to that point in time because right now for me, as long as I'm staying consistent with my workouts and I'm not buying into the notion of muscle confusion, which by the way is complete bullshit if you ask me.
I
I
you
believe
know what's funny? I actually sorry I didn't mean to cut you off, but like
no, that's fine.
I actually believed it. I actually believed it in the concept when P90X came out. I mean, do you remember
Mm-hmm.
when that stuff came out like way back like I think like
Sure.
2010 or 8?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
think it was around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I never understood, but they when you look into it like, "Oh, that kind of makes sense ish." But then when you think about it a decade later, oh, that shit doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. If anything, whenever says someone says muscle confusion, that kind of makes me think, what? So you're saying muscles have a mind of their own? If that's the case, then why the hell is my arm moving on its own? Are you telling me that my arm moving like this is not from my own will?
Hmm.
That's bullshit, dude. That's not how the human body works. If I'm moving my arm like this, that's because I'm actually dictating it to move like this, not because it's moving its shit all on its own. Come on now. I'm not a doctor or anything, but as far as I know, the muscles do not have minds of their own, which
Or
is why,
or or,
yeah,
or what if the mind is controlling your own movements?
I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying by like, I'm dictating it to
Yeah.
move like this. Like, this is not something that's doing it on its own. I'm actually saying, hey, arm, move like this for me. That's why I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
but man, but now thinking about now, knowing what you know now, like, do you have an end game at I guess not outside insight, like where you want to be, like shoot, like what would be like the apropos weight that you want, that you feel like, damn it,
Uh,
damn, I feel good.
As far as that goes, although I do have that picture in my head where I look like I'm a, still rings gymnast, which by the way, if you look them up, they look pretty freaking sexy. No homo there. Um, you know, although I do want to look like one of those guys, or at least something like it, I'm not trying to rush it because if I'm being honest right now, that's like one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my teenage years where I was really focused into the look and not so much the exercises I'm performing.
Hmm.
Back then, that's how it was, but now I'm the complete opposite of that. Do I want to look uh lean as hell? Yes. But, you know, I should not let that get into my head, as in like I should not make that I should not let that be my only focus to the point where I'm, just how should I say? I'm just like, cranking through the exercise without proper thought into it. If anything, I think the best way to get to that end goal, regardless of how long it takes, is, you know, um perform better on the exercise. However, that is supposed to be done.
Because because the reason I'd asked that, because I think the other day when we had our meeting, like when we were kind of like off screen, like reacting to like old videos, like what,
Mhm.
because because air because yeah, my memory jogs me right. Because man, you were lean back when we met you, man.
Yeah, I mean, that was when I was like, at the gym, kind of sort of had a bro meathead mentality. But comparing that to now, my mindset is nothing at all like the way it was about maybe 6 years ago, I would say. No, 7 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah, it's nothing at all like 7 years ago.
because shit, dude. No, because me and Eric had this moment too, like back a little back 2 months ago, back in May, because we graduated on May 20th, 2011,
Hmm.
and it it didn't hit us, but like shit, like look at, if you look at us, look at our life like back a decade ago, like shit, uh, I look at that film like, holy crap, I was completely different, different then. And I was actually I wouldn't say leaner, but I was actually a little I was a lot more lighter back then. But I guess that's the beauty of youth, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, if anything, I was kind of sort of the opposite, save for
but
my sophomore year.
but you actually had like um you actually had a you actually had wrestling like
Yeah.
like if you can like if you can recollect those memories where that decision like you joined wrestling or like what I guess like what made you like join wrestling like way back then.
If I'm being honest, I kind of had that teenager mentality where I kind of wanted to be one of the cool dudes that's in the athletics program.
Yeah.
But most of all, I kind of wanted to earn the heart of a girl at the time.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. And because I knew for a fact I was like very out of shape, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna join this sport and I'm gonna look fucking good for her. And well, as it turns out, looking good is probably maybe like scratching the surface when it compares to like the inside, so to
Hmm.
speak. Like, being healthy is one thing. That's not to say you should be like an obese fuck, a fat fuck to get the girl,
Right.
but that's only like a part of, what gets their juices, I guess, going. What really gets them going, I know this now as a married man, what really gets them going is not necessarily what you look like, but more
It's the
like,
personality that you
yeah, exactly. It's the heart that really, say, "Oh my gosh, this is a great guy. I want to give him a chance."
right.
You know, at the time I didn't quite understand that. And to be honest, in retrospect, as
Hmm.
in like looking back now, I'm kind of glad I didn't end up with her because huh? No, babe. No, listen. I'm talking
Oh,
about a high
hi Mia.
I'm talking about a high school memory, okay?
This is a show. Hi,
What?
welcome to the show. She can join us for the show, dude. It's totally
What?
cool. Oh, jeez, we're both.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see the huh? Anyway, um as I was saying earlier, I'm kind of glad didn't end up with her because looking back at it now, she kind of had very high standards which I was sure I could not meet. I wasn't talking about like the good-looking kind of guy standards. It was more like, the s- uh stress for success mindset. And I could tell she was that type of girl. Like
Mm.
the clubs she was in, the kind of classes she was taking, I'm like,
Like also the
mm-mm.
music, the way she probably dressed, and
The music, I wasn't really sure what she listened to. I
oh,
kind of
okay,
presumed she kind of listened to the same music as almost everyone else.
like
But,
dubstep kind
you
of
know,
nonsense.
not necessarily. But what really kind of made me think, okay, there's no way I'm ending up with this chick.
Hmm.
Um, she was in student council. She
Right.
was in LOES or League of Extraordinary Students. She was in, AP classes. I'm like, nope. This chick has way too high of a
Wait.
standards for a guy. So, yeah,
I
not gonna happen.
hold on. Are you telling me that you you went over one League of Extraordinary Students? Did they make that based off that stupid movie, The League of Extraordinary Men?
I honestly don't know. If anything, I didn't quite connect the dots until like years later. I didn't even know a movie called League of Extraordinary Gentlemen existed at the time.
I was gonna say like that. That's like the most corniest. That's a corny ass
It
name.
is corny as hell.
That's
I'm not gonna
that's
lie.
a corny ass name. Shit.
It is.
Jesus
But
Christ.
again, to be fair, I had no idea a movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen existed. I didn't know about it that time.
Well, that's got to be better than LitCon. Anyways,
Lit
because it's
LitCon.
no. So there's this like literary connections club back in Campbell. They were pretty much glorified book club.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Kind of sounds like slam poetry, if you ask me.
In a way, but there it was just more of a glorified book club.
I see.
That so yeah, I thought they ran out of ideas when they're coming out with club names at this point, but Jesus.
Don't even ask me about that house because other than being like high grade, high standard students, I have no idea who the hell they are.
Honestly, I think honestly you better off just like not knowing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't really care.
True, true, but man, but going, with that said, like um, I've always wondered and I I was curious about it too, like when when like I guess like when you and your current when you and Mia met and stuff, like, and we'll get really deep into to this part of this episode, but like how for just for our audience, like how did it all begin? Like how did the meet up begin? Like how did like conversations like go about with you guys? Like how do you know, like how did you know, like, for sure, like, damn, she's the one?
I guess it all started with a conversation on Facebook Messenger with my niece Bea.
Yeah.
Um, she kind of knew that I currently just I got out of a relationship not too long ago, and she knew that I was lonely,
Hmm.
and then she said, why don't you try talking to my cousin from my dad's side? For some context, by the way, I'm not saying I'm committing incest. Rather, the cousin in question for this girl, Bea, who is also my wife right now, that cousin is from my niece's father's side, who I have absolutely no relation to other than lawful marriage. That's pretty much it.
I
So
see that.
yeah. So technically, well, this doesn't quite apply to me, but it is quite close, I would say. Technically, I kind of married my own in-law. But again, that doesn't really apply because in-law is supposed to be kind of direct. Because, the only reason why I'm related to Bea is because her mother is my cousin from my uncle, who is the oldest, who is the elder brother of my mom. I know that sounds kind of complex, but the point is, I am in no way related to Mia at all. Yeah.
Understood. I understand now. So
But yeah, it all started with like a conversation of Bea saying, "Hey, why don't you, you know, give a holler to my cousin Mia?" I was like, "Okay, sure. What's her full name?" Okay, I'll type this full name in. Look at results. I was like, "Ooh, this looks like this looks like, like just her. Okay, I don't
Presence.
mean to sound well, I don't mean to sound shallow here, but her skin tone, like being very pale for a Filipino, it kind of, turned me on at first. And then
I was
from
I was I was
there,
I was, I was about to say her presence, but close enough.
well, that wouldn't apply because she wasn't here yet. But
Okay.
anyway, um, we kind of just started talking for a little bit, like,
Mm.
trying to build up friendship, that kind of thing. Being vent buddies. And then, at one point she kind of chose another guy over me, which was quite painful to say the least. And that was
I
when
know how
I
that
had
feels.
yeah, and that was when I had to tell her, look, the reason why I, wanted to become your friend was because I feel this way for you. And then, she kind of kept that in the back of her head, even when she was with that other guy. But that other guy didn't really last long with her. If anything, I was kind of surprised they didn't last very long. And then from there, the hype train, I guess.
I was honestly I was ready to say I guess the winds are in your favor.
Well, it seemed that way, even though I wasn't necessarily hoping for it to be so. But it turns out it did because number of years later, we confessed our feelings for each other, telling her that, even though you were this way back then, it's not something that I would be using against you because I'm not like that kind of person. Like she told me that, but she told me that she was willing to, you know, be in a relationship with me, but then she also confessed that she wasn't, she's no longer a virgin, which she thought was going to kind of, you know, push me away from her. But that that didn't really affect me at all. If anything, that fact didn't even bother me one bit because, I think that a person's past should not uh define the person's present, let
Amen.
alone the future. So
Amen.
if anything, whatever she did back then, I didn't give a shit. I only cared about the person that she is right now. And
You're able to. But I think what's even more awesome is that you're able to acknowledge her past, but also
mhm,
you acknowledge in a way you kind of acknowledged her past,
mhm.
but also like I get it. Then you acknowledge the past, but you literally made it work.
I guess you could say that. I mean, to me, I would rather define it as, yeah, you did something that you're not exactly proud of, but at the end of the day, I don't care because what you did, that's done. You can't take it back. Just move forward. Because I know I did some stupid shit in the past, but
Mm.
that doesn't mean that's going to. Okay, unless I, you know, um, unless I did something very very bad, like I stole something, murdered someone, or touch an underage girl. That's
Or cheated on someone. You know,
yeah, or cheated on someone.
because I wouldn't think you'd be able to like kill or do anything like that unless you were. But realistically, no, you're realistically like knowing you for like the past couple of years, like nah, you're not you ain't the type of dude to go shoot up a bank or
No,
chop someone's
I
head
would
off.
I wouldn't even think twice about doing it. But anyway, my point is, even though she did this back then,
Hmm.
I don't care about it now because I wasn't there at the time. Sure, you admitted it to me, but so what? The way I see you right now, you're not that person before. And that's what, and it was kind of like that moment where she put her cards on the table and thought, okay, I put my cards on the table. I'm probably going to lose this bet. I could tell she had that mindset. I put all my cards on the table. I'm probably going to lose the bet. To her surprise, no, she did not lose that bet. She actually won that bet. And from there, we kind of just hit it off because we didn't let our pasts burden us for our future. We basically, you know, leave that stuff behind and don't even think about looking back.
Man. And then it's funny. Like I remember I forgot a couple of nights, like literally you told me and Air like specifically like you proposed to her
Yeah.
in person.
I mean,
But I know like I know under the circumstances back then, like, and I'm gonna be like flat honest with you on this one. Like
okay.
I I I feel that proposing over the phone um was probably not. I know you got the yes, that was fantastic,
Yeah.
and I was super happy for you. But
Mm.
in terms of like in terms of like making it, in terms of like making it feel like special, like once in a lifetime,
Yeah.
like
I already know where this is going. Just say it.
I feel like more effort could have been actually done to putting into the proposal. I know, I get it. I know. I'm gonna hear it from you that yeah, things are out of control. I I
Yeah.
I get it,
That,
but
and at this point, I don't really care.
but I figure I had to say it to you because honestly, like I should have told you like as a friend, like legitimately, and to be really honest with you, like I was like one, I was happy for you, but I was also pretty bad at you, like bad that like bro, I thought you're gonna wait till like when you get to like to the Philippines to do this and like plan out like a fucking like fireworks show with fucking like shit all over the place, like, and then boom, like fireworks and shit. Like that's all pissed was like that's all like I was pissed at you for a long time, but overall, you know what? Like I honestly ended up being super happy for you, even though even though I straight up disagreed with the way you did it.
I mean, I knew that, but hey, what's done is done. I can't take back what I did. But
True.
even if I did, you know, um, and things would have went a little bit differently, it probably would have ended the same way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Being said that, did other people like me also said that too, or am I the only one who just said it?
You might be the only one
Fuck
because
me. Okay,
honestly,
never mind.
honestly, whether or not people agreed with my unconventional method of proposing, I didn't give a shit. Okay?
Man, nah, but props, but for real, like props to you, like getting married at the age of, well, 23 at the time, right?
Yeah, 23.
Like props to you, like getting married at that time, man.
I mean, if anything, that's actually not very unusual if you think about it, because there are places in the world, not in the US, or at least I hope not, but there are,
I also feel like there's a study or like a survey
yeah,
study done based on like the average age of men who get married at 23, actually between ages of like 20, I would say like maybe like 21 to 30
or 19
or
to 30,
19 to 30.
because yeah,
I
because
feel like
there
there was
are,
a study done. Yeah,
yeah, because there are people out there that actually get married a couple years younger than I did,
right.
and there's nothing wrong with that if you ask me. But then there are also some parts of the world where they actually get married at 13, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, who the hell came up with that practice?
I think, oh, I think that practice goes back like,
Thousands of years, I know. But again,
yeah.
it's, if anything, it's kind of stupid because, as a 13-year-old, you kind of don't quite understand what
Mm,
love is supposed to be because, when you're young, and by young, I mean like preteen, 13, maybe 14, 15, love is like, it's like you picture like, romantic comedies, romantic movies, Twilight even. You kind of picture that.
you put Twilight in there. Jesus Christ.
You kind of picture that as your love life. But no, if anything, that's not quite what it is. Because in my experience, how relationships work, it's, how should I say this? It's kind of like a you know, it's basically a two-way street. Like, you pull your own weight, I'll pull my own weight, and as long as we do that, we're gonna get through the days just fine.
I like that. And that's like really, hell. That's even more important now than ever. Just like both 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 people within the relationship, like learning not only just like, well, actually, yeah, learning about each other and learning your, your strengths, your strengths, your weaknesses, and what makes a couple just like gel together like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's gonna be pitfalls, believe it or not, but just because there's one pitfall doesn't mean it's over. Just pull yourself back up and keep going.
Hmm.
Because kind of like fitness, relationship is a life journey. If you're in it together, you're gonna get through things together. I don't know how else to describe it, but point is, whether it's a relationship or a marriage, you know, as long as you two are a team, you will get through whatever troubles you might encounter. That's just the way it is.
Makes sense. So, um, man, yeah, not man, not. I wish I would. I know, knowing what I know now, or man, kind of wish I had that kind of like mindset, thinking going forward. Like, if only life was just easy. Get a girl, be friends, and start a relationship, and then get to that point. But I get it. I'm not like most guys who would who could do that, because sometimes sometimes I enjoy being single. Yeah, I know it sounds like lonely and stupid as fuck sometimes, but there are times where in my life, like, I actually I appreciate it more than anything. You know?
To each their own. If anything, both have their you know, ups and downs.
True. So
Like neither lifestyle is perfect, if you ask me.
yeah.
I'm not saying I don't miss my single life. If anything, I do think about it from time to time.
Hmm.
But, at the same time, I'm, happy that I'm with the person I'm with because, even though even though I'm, you know, even though some people say that I'm a complete man by getting married with a woman who cares about me, I don't necessarily see it that way because even though we're married, we're still learning some things about each other, even though we've already learned quite a bit about each other, before we decided to tie the knot. So for those that say, "Oh, you guys gotta, be together for a certain amount of time," really? I don't know how that makes sense because life doesn't quite work that way, let alone for everyone. Like somebody might get married in 2 months' time, somebody might get married in 4 years' time. What matters is if you decide to tie the knot with each other, then you know great. If anything, time should not be a dictator of saying, how you feel for this person. If you feel if you feel this person is everything to
Mm.
you, then go ahead, tie the knot, live together, whatever. You know, time shouldn't be the ultimate dictator in when this is supposed to happen. If you feel everything for this person, then you will do whatever it takes to, you know, reach that end goal with that individual. In other words, I guess I kind of sound like I'm rambling at this point, but I guess I'll try to make it to the simplest and ultimate point I'm trying to make. Life is different for everyone. That's really all I'm trying to say. Like for someone who got married, or I guess I'll use my cousins as an example.
Sure.
They, you know, they were with their spouses before they got married. They were with their uh
Significant other.
lovers for, yeah, significant other for years, which is good. I got nothing against that.
Right.
But for me, I've been with my significant other for a few years now, albeit majority of it was, mostly away from one another. But even then, we still felt the connection with each other. And to me, that's really all that matters. Whether you guys are far away or right next to each other, as long as the connection is there and it's sustained, you guys will be all right.
That's the one final thing I also kind of want to talk, also like ask you ask you is, if you know me by well, I'm not the biggest fan of long distance relationships,
That's fine.
but I want to ask you from your side, like how are you able to like maintain maintain that like that kind of like relationship, like because I feel like because I feel like that, I don't, let alone I don't think I could handle being away from someone like I'm the type of person who'd rather like if I'm stressed out from like a lot of shit in my life, and I mean stressed out to the max in life, like I would call you and I would call you and ask you if I can come over and talk to you and shit, like go to your house,
Okay.
and talk about this shit, you know, where as in long distance. And honestly, I have no gripes against people with long distance, because honestly, like I respect it, because people found their ways to make it work. What I'm truly want to know, like finally, like in your eyes, like how are you able to make it work for over, because you guys been long distance for what, two
Three, 3 years,
three
I would
years
say. Yeah. It would have been 2 years had it not been for COVID.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Um, well, there were two factors into play that kind of sustained my connection with her. One is the most obvious, communication. We talk to each other literally every day.
Hmm.
Um, the other was a bit more, I guess it was a bit more convenient, so to speak. um, you know, my relatives from my mom's side, they already knew who she was. Like, no joke. They would even allow her to stay into their place for, a certain amount of time and whatnot. Like, she was already well known by those who were already closest to me, which is pretty much the be all end all factor on why we managed to stay connected for so long.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But but man, honestly, like I'm like after everything after everything like you kind of you pretty much like lived went through, actually not went but lived through it all paid off at the end of the moment she got here.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know how else to say it, but that's pretty much it.
And then what was at that and then just final question like at that moment like at that very moment like knowing that she was just in the she was just one baggage claim away like what was that emotion like for you like holy shit like this is like was it like holy shit this is happening like for real like kind of thing or just or were you just like excited to the point like finally like like what describe to me finally like what was that feeling like of like
Um, it was kind of like a mix between those two emotions you described. Um, I was feeling just a tiny bit nervous, but at the same time, I was also really happy that she was just one gate away, uh, from me. And the moment we saw each other, face to face in Honolulu International Airport, that was when like a whole new chapter began for each other. And it doesn't hurt at all that she also noticed how much uh how much pounds I shed off in the time that from the last time we were together on 2 years ago, and then 2021 here I am at considerably less pounds than before.
are you are
And
you are you are
yeah.
you are you confident enough to see how much you weigh right now?
um how should I say this? Not necessarily, only because hitting a certain number on the weight scale isn't necessarily my goal. If anything, I consider it more as a byproduct rather than a goal. Yes, I do recognize that I lost weight, but at the same time, I'm not trying to I'm not saying to you, "Oh, I want to get to 160 pounds." Not really my mindset anymore, because again, the weight loss part, that's just a side effect of what I'm doing. What I really what I'm really doing right now, I'm not really goal focused per se, or rather I'm a bit more um exercise focused. Um I don't know how else to say it, but instead of like trying my best to get to the goal as quick as I possibly can, my mindset now in working out is I just want to enjoy the process. And to me, that was one of the biggest secrets of success that I pulled off into sustaining a fitness related lifestyle for an entire year and beyond that.
And on that note, and on that note, progress is key. And I want
Yeah.
to take and I want to take this time to thank everyone for tuning into the So to Speak podcast show. Nick, thank you so much for being episode number 2,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate you coming on. And if you want to do a part 2 next time, I'm also down for that because next time I'll love to know your um maybe on the next episode. I'll like to know where did the inspiration for the Road Ranger began, where its origins
You're
were on another
okay.
episode. I'll love to do another one with you.
You're the host. Ask me, and I'll give you my answer.
So, with that said, everyone, this is my guest, Mr. Sicknick himself. You can always catch us here on Panoramic Gaming, whether we're streaming Sea of Thieves. Hell, you might see him and Air play Warzone. So hit them up. With that being said, thank you everyone. Thanks for tuning in the show, Nick. Hopefully see you Monday if I'm not too busy training for White Triple Crown.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. That being said, everyone, thanks everyone for tuning in the show. We'll be back hopefully next Friday for another guest. Till then, goodbye, good night, boing. Thank you, Nick.
Shoots.
Shoots.